You can pray for years about marriage and still miss the signs right in front of you. Not because God is silent, not because He is confusing, but because most people are looking for fireworks, while God is building foundations. If you misunderstand this, you won't just delay your marriage. You could walk into the wrong covenant believing it was God's will. And once you say "I do," it's no longer a dating decision. It's a destiny decision. So how do you discern God's marriage signs? Not emotions. Not chemistry. Not pressure from age, family, or loneliness. Real signs. Biblical signs. Lasting signs. Let's break this down clearly. Stay to the end, because the final sign is the one most believers ignore, and it changes everything. 1. The sign of spiritual alignment. This is not about church attendance, it's about spiritual direction. Are you both moving toward God, or just occasionally mentioning Him? Do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers. 2 Corinthians 6 verse 14. A yoke joins two animals so they pull in the same direction. If one is stronger or moving differently, the load becomes torture. Marriage is a yoke. If your prayer life convicts them, if your hunger for God makes them uncomfortable, if obedience feels too extreme to them, that is not alignment. That is friction waiting to explode. Because shared faith is not a bonus in marriage. It is the engine. When storms hit, and they will, spiritual alignment determines whether you pray together or blame each other. God's sign is peace in spiritual direction. Not perfection. Direction. Keep watching, because alignment alone isn't enough. 2. The sign of character under pressure. Anyone can act holy when dating is exciting, the real test. Pressure. By their fruit you will recognize them. Matthew 7 verse 16. Fruit grows over time. Not in a weekend. Watch how they handle conflict, correction, disappointment, delay. Do they explode, manipulate, withdraw, or do they humble themselves? God does not confirm marriage based on charm. He confirms based on character. Because attraction sustains dating. Character sustains covenant. If they cannot apologize, they cannot build. If they cannot control anger, they cannot protect peace. If they cannot submit to God, they cannot lead or love well. Fruit never lies. And here's the deeper truth: God's marriage signs mature you too. If you are triggered constantly, that may not be spiritual warfare. It may be incompatibility, but there's another layer most people miss. 3. The sign of confirmed counsel. Isolation distorts discernment. Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors they succeed. Proverbs 20 verse 18. God often confirms His will through wise voices, not random opinions, not jealous friends, not bitter relatives. Wise, God-fearing counsel. If every mature believer in your life is concerned. Pause. If mentors consistently affirm peace and compatibility. Listen. Because emotions are loud. Wisdom is steady. When infatuation clouds judgment, God uses community to clear it. But understand this clearly: counsel confirms. It does not replace personal conviction. If you need 10 people to convince you, that is not confirmation. That is insecurity. Now let's talk about something deeper than external voices. 4. The sign of internal peace, not anxiety. Butterflies are not the Holy Spirit, fear of losing them is not confirmation, urgency is not destiny. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts. Colossians 3 verse 15. Notice the word rule. Peace acts like an umpire. It calls safe or out. When you think about marrying this person, what rules your heart? Peace, or subtle dread? Do you feel rushed, pressured, afraid they might leave if you slow down? God does not manipulate through fear. His signs come with clarity. Even if circumstances are complex, your spirit remains steady. Yes, marriage is serious. Yes, there will be natural nerves. But there is a difference between nervous excitement and spiritual unrest, and if you ignore unrest now, you will magnify it later. Stay with me, because the next sign protects you from emotional blindness. 5. The sign of purpose compatibility. Marriage is not just about romance. It is about an assignment. Can two walk together, unless they are agreed? Amos 3 verse 3. Ask this honestly, where are you both going, if one dreams of missions and the other resents sacrifice? Conflict is coming. If one values simplicity and the other craves status. Tension is inevitable. God's marriage signs include shared mission. Not identical personalities, shared direction. When God joins two people, their strengths complement each other's purpose. You sharpen each other's calling, not compete with it. And here's the truth most don't say: if being with them consistently pulls you away from obedience, that is not a sign from God. God never gives you a spouse who weakens your assignment. But there's one final sign that ties everything together, and most believers skip it. 6. The sign of tested time. If it is from God, it will survive time. There is a time for everything. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1. Rushed relationships hide the truth. Time reveals consistency, patterns, integrity, stability. Infatuation fades. Reality stays. God is not nervous about timing. If someone pressures you with ultimatums, marry me now or I'm gone, that is not divine urgency. That is emotional control. When something is ordained by God, it grows stronger with time, not weaker. You don't need constant drama to keep it alive. It becomes steady, predictable, safe, and safety is one of God's most underrated marriage signs. Now let's connect everything: spiritual alignment, proven character, wise counsel, ruling peace, shared purpose, tested time. Notice something: none of these depends on feelings alone, because feelings fluctuate. God's signs are anchored in truth, fruit, peace, and purpose. If you ignore these and choose based on loneliness, attraction, or pressure, you may still get married. But you won't necessarily have God's design, and here's the hope: if you are unsure right now, that does not mean you failed. It means slow down, pray honestly, observe patiently, invite wisdom, let peace rule. God is not hiding His will from you. He reveals it through clarity, not chaos. Here's your challenge: today, choose one of these 6 signs and evaluate your relationship honestly, not emotionally. Honestly, write it down. Where is the evidence? Where is the fruit? Where is the peace? And if this helped you see clearly, subscribe for faith-building content without the fluff. Because discernment in marriage is not optional, it is protection for your future.